We're gonna do a garden tour today of the farm gardens, not the garden at my place, the little stone house, but over here at the farm I'm gonna show you what my garden looks like as of August, mid-August. It's a hot mess. It's August. I'll show you guys. Got my beans, I've got my tomato plants. That pretty much have taken over the entire garden. Then my squash and corn. You can see my dogs are patiently waiting for me to come out of the garden. Alright, I don't even know where to start. I haven't been out here in like 3 or 4 days. Most of the squash and zucchini, I have a bunch of it already froze. And I don't really know of any other way to preserve it. So I more or less just have a little farm stand here at the farm too. I have a little farm stand at Little Stone House, but I also have one here that I just put on a table. And there's a couple people that come by and they actually buy like the majority of it at one time, which is wonderful. I get so much of it, I just really can't keep up with it, and I can only eat so much squash and zucchini. So it's the yellow summer squash. I don't even know where to start. I'll show you guys. I see one now. They're actually not that big for me not being out here in a few days. Very surprised. Toss her out here in the open. So otherwise, I will get distracted and forget about them. They're kind of in that weird stage where it's like, do I pick them now because they're still kind of small, but I feel like squash and zucchini, you're like, oh, I'll give them another day and then I'll come out here tomorrow and they'll be the size of my leg. So I guess I might as well pick them because I probably won't be over here for a couple more days. Or I will be, I just won't have much time to. Let's see a little cutie right there. I'm really surprised that the squash bugs have not demolished anything yet. I lost one. I don't know what happened to her. I'll show you. She's she's right there. She's currently buried under my tomato plants. I feel like I can feel fall in the air. Happened to really see one more little squash. You guys are getting up and close and personal in my space here picking zucchini. And I also have these girls. I don't even know if I have the tag on these anymore. Can't even remember what they were. They were clearance plants that I got like a month ago. For like $1. For like I think it was a pot of 3. So I bought them because I figured, well, it's worth the shot to see. And they were like a type of squash that I've never heard of before. So I thought, oh, I will try something new. But so the goal of this garden, it goes all the way to the tree line there. This side, actually, I'll come out here and show you guys. It came a long ways. I'll try to find some pictures of what this garden looked like before we started on it. So walking, let me open it. So when you walk in, this side here is all in-ground gardening, and then this side from here over is going to be raised beds. This is the first one that we've built, and I just have not had the chance to build any more. So the goal is this is all going to be raised beds, and I'm going to have them, I want to say probably 6 or so feet apart. And then I'm going to have the cattle panels arch so I can have a lot of my like trellising plants, like my beans. Right now I have them out of the garden. Out. I have them along the fence, and it works as long as you have like the plastic netting for them to grab onto. That's all I had, so I can only go that far. But otherwise they don't. They just kind of fall onto the ground. As you can see here. Oh, I see little beans. So that's kind of been a pain in the bum. But so I'm hoping by next year I will have more time to at least get, I don't know, just a handful of beds made. So I could at least plant my beans and some of my gourds. I'm going to do loofahs because I had some this year, but they didn't do very well. And I just didn't get them on the ground quick enough, which I think stunted them. So hopefully next year, amongst other things, I will have that hopefully done. And then there's the onions. These actually need to be harvested. I'll probably do that maybe in the next couple of days because the most of them, it looks like, are laying down. There's not. This row was the last row to go in. I think this row's like a week behind this row. That's what, if I remember correctly. I need to get better at writing stuff down on calendars. So next couple days I'll come out here and harvest all these onions, and I'll do a separate video on that. And then the corn, I think next year I'm going to do, there's 3 rows, and in all honesty, it's the first time that I've had like homegrown corn from my garden since I was like a little kid, or a little kid, probably in my early teens. But oh my gosh, I forgot how amazing it is. Like even just buying corn locally, like from neighbors and stuff, it's just a night and day difference. I don't know if it's because I don't use any like pesticides or herbicides or anything on them. But oh my gosh, it's just like candy. I literally ate like 9 ears the other night because it was so good. So I think that I almost want to do 1/3 of this side in corn next year. So maybe like 10 rows. That's what I'm thinking, because I feel like I can eat a lot of corn, way more than I expected, because usually I'm not that big of a like pure corn eater. Like I like canned corn, but really I'm not that big of a corn eater. But I steamed some of this the other night, threw some butter on it, and I was like, oh, I feel like 3 rows is not enough. And I not only that, but I feel like I had some, I don't know if it was rabbits or something got in here, and I want to say it was rabbits. I'm hoping it wasn't like raccoons or anything, but they nibbled on them, and so I lost probably 8 or 9 plants, sadly. So they're kind of slow coming on. They're different stages because they planted the first row, and they took forever to come up, and only like 5 or 6 plants came up in that row. I got this little black bug bothering me. So then I had to go back through and replant again, and then by that point I already had the 2nd row, and then I think it was like a week later then I did the 3rd row. The same thing happened with that. So that's kind of like short ones, long. They just, like certain areas they came up, and then obviously then other areas did not, so then I had to go back and replant. So I'm learning the whole growing corn organically ordeal, and it's more, yeah, it's, I don't want to say it's difficult, but it's, I feel like the rabbits or whatever it was that's bothering it was more of an issue than pests. But so I'm very excited about that. Lesson learned: plant way more corn than you expect. And then the good old squash and zucchinis here are holding up. I always feel like if you don't have very much confidence gardening, plant you a few squash and zucchini plants. But you can't go wrong with them. And I feel like it's so easy to grow. I'll have to take a video, if I can remember before I post this, of the squash that I got out of here. So last week, the thing was literally like the length of my leg. And the sad thing is, I think I checked it like 3 or 4 days before, and it was like a little bit longer than my hand. And I was like, oh, I've got time. I've got plenty of time. No, you don't. When it comes to squash and zucchini, you really don't. Here's a big one. I always hate all the little prickles that you get from it. Like, yeah, here we go. Here's a good comparison. Like, how does this happen? How does this even? Oh, I see another one over there too. You can use that as a defense mechanism. Oh, yep, there's another one that's gonna be. Oh my god. Yep, here it is. This one's. This one's even bigger. So these, I actually, when they're this big, one of my favorite things to do is cut the ends off. Oh, I took myself out. And then slice it up. Get some marinara sauce. Let me see. Marinara sauce, 1 or 2 slices of provolone, pepperoni. I think that's all I usually put on there. And then I put it in the oven until it looks like it's done. My oven's broke. It doesn't have a temperature nozzle on it, so I can't tell what temperature it's actually set at. So I'm assuming it's around 250 because it takes a little bit longer than usual to bake stuff in there. So I don't really know how long to put it in there for, at what temperature. I just kind of eyeball it when I bake and use that oven. The zucchini was heavy. So I just keep an eye on it until it looks like the zucchini's cooked and soft. And then the cheese and everything's kind of melted. So it looks like the top of a pizza, but it's zucchini pizza. And oh my gosh, it's so good. It's like the perfect summer snack. And it's a good way to use up the really big zucchinis that you get in the garden. Otherwise, the other way that I eat them when they get that big is I just cut them up and then cut them down the middle. And I just kind of cook them with some onions. Kind of more or less just steam them and cut up some pieces of ham and throw in there too. And it's good. You don't have to add anything else because the salt and kind of seasoning from the ham is plenty. So that's really the 2 ways that I eat the large zucchinis like that. And it's delish. Absolutely delish. Okay, I think that's it. It's actually not that many for me not being out here the last few days. I see lots of little babies though, so maybe that's where the in-between. Alright, let's go put it out. Oh my gosh, you guys. Remember I was just talking about something eating my corn? And I was like, oh, it's probably a rabbit. Well, I don't know why I did not think to check my live trap, but I was just walking by and I was like, oh, I forgot that I set the live trap. So I was like, oh, it's set. So I look in here and look who we got. The little corn eater. He even looks like he's got corn on his mind. He's like, no, it wasn't me, ma'am. It wasn't me. I am not a corn eater. So I take that back. I'm not blaming the bunnies anymore. He's so little. He's a little possum. We got a little possum feet. Which is good. I prefer, that's why I like doing the live trap. So that way I can tell what I catch. And make sure it's like not a rabbit or something. Because I'd feel bad if I did like one of the Conibear traps and it was a little bun. I'd feel so bad. So, that's good. At least I caught him. I want to catch all the possums and raccoons that I can because of my poultries. This is a no predator zone for the girls. They don't want any of that business around here. So, Little Possum's gonna take a road trip far away from poultry land. Alright, let me finish putting these squash and zucchini out on the farm stand, and I'll show you guys what that looks like. Alright, I'll show you guys this. So it's literally just a wire wheel, and I keep the eggs in there, and I have my squash and zucchini here, and that is pretty much all I do here. I have my little jar that says put money in here. Thank you. Got my little sign just to keep it simple, and that is pretty much that. My eggs, like I said, this is the cooler that came from a little stone house from my place. Cooler works okay. It works better over here because it's in the shade, so I feel like it keeps it cooler in the summer. But when come winter, it's really hard to keep eggs out here for everybody. So usually we have a little sign in the cooler that says if they need eggs, just call or text us, and I can bring eggs out for them if they're gonna pick them up that day. Especially in the winter because it gets obviously freezing temperatures. They can't stay out here for very long. So that is that. It's a squash and zucchini. I also forgot to mention, when the squash get really big, I feed them to the gals. They look, ooh, dropping squashes. They come, they're like, Mom, move, buddy. They're like, Mom's got goodies. It's got goodies. Come on, children. Come in. They're like, oh, Mom's got squashes. Last summer, oh my gosh, I went overboard with planting squash and zucchini. I think I planted like, oh my Lanta, 20 something squash and then 20 or so zucchini. Thinking, oh, we can eat that many squash and zucchini. No, a person cannot, let me tell you. I was pawning squash and zucchini off on people I didn't even know. I'm like, hi, I'm your neighbor. Here's some squash and zucchini. So the poor birds got the gist of it. So that's all they ate last summer was squash and zucchini. And literally it got to the point they would like pick their beak up at me and be like, don't feed us that disgusting stuff. They wanted nothing to do with squash and zucchini after last summer. So this year they're still not as crazy about it, but they'll eat it because, yeah, they have no choice. But this year I only planted 4 squash and 4 zucchini plants instead of 40. And I'm still swimming up to my eyeballs in squash and zucchini. Okay, now we can pick some tomatoes. I will tell you, a lot of the tomatoes I'm not sure the name of because Jeff picked them up from I think Walmart. So I'm not sure the name, but one that I did find the tag on for the plant is called the Cherokee Purple Heirloom Tomato. Look how pretty. Oh, hold on. There we go. Hey, hello, pups. And they're amazing. Out of all the tomatoes, this is probably my favorite. It's got, I can't even explain the taste and texture of it, but it's amazing. It's not really acidic, but it's not even really sweet. It's just a really strong tomato taste, and it's not acidic at all. So it's like one of my favorites. It's so good. Oh, it's so good. I mean, a couple of the other ones that we got, I think was like the Better Boy tomato. That one's okay. And then the beefsteak. That's just, I feel like everybody knows kind of what the beefsteak is. But out of the 3 of them, this one's my favorite. It's so good. Any idea what it looks like? Can't. You might give her an extra day. I feel like she needs it. I still can't believe the possum, you guys. I feel so bad for blaming the rabbit. I'm here blabbing on about how rabbits are eating my corn. Can't even find my basket now, gosh darn it. It's buried in here. I thought it was going to be like a shoe. Hey, there it is. I'm going to go for the tomatoes first, I think. So, I feel like if you guys feeling down about your garden because it's looking rough and you're overwhelmed with weeds and it's not Pinterest pretty, just it's a land of weeds. It's just so, it's like I felt like I was doing so good. I use hay, just junk hay that's not good enough to feed the livestock. That's been rained on a couple of times. It works phenomenal for suppressing the weeds, but unfortunately I've got 500 things going on my plate and I just, gardening is hard. It's a lot of fun, it's rewarding, but sometimes it just gets out of hand, and even if you just take a week off from keeping up with weeding and mulching, and it gets out of hand. This was all mulched. I have no idea what happened. I literally feel like there was like a few days of rainy weather and I wasn't over here. This literally seems like this happened. So I have my watermelon in here. I've got cantaloupe. I've got quite a different variety of cantaloupe and watermelon. I do have the moon over here. Make sure I'm not stepping on any plants. Can't tell what's a plant and what's a weed at this point. You can see the moon and star there. This is one of my favorites. Last year I was late planting it, and they had little bitty watermelons, but the frost got it before they actually were able to eat. But one, I just love the name. Two, I think they are just so pretty. I just think that they're magical, and I just love them. I'm like, even if they don't produce watermelons, they're just so pretty. So, long story short, or short story long, as I should say, I feel like my stories are never short, even though I have good intentions of them being short. Don't feel bad about your weeds. Just don't. Your garden could look like this. But you know what? It's okay, because I'm still gonna get produce. The pollinators are happy. I'm not stressing about it. It is what it is. I'm just, at this point, it's August. I'm not worried about it. I have bigger fish to fry, and worrying about my garden being covered in weeds is not one of them. So I just sit out here and I eat my tomatoes. I love the cherry tomatoes, are like my favorite. Like I could eat them like candy. I just live off of cherry tomatoes. I'm sorry I don't have my tripod with me either. I feel like you guys are like all up and close and personal. Oh, look at that. It just went up my nose. It was me in this video, but I wasn't planning on recording. I was like, oh, I need to pick stuff. Then I was like, oh my god, I've been out here like, I don't know how many times in the last 2 months. I always forget to record. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to record, and you guys are just going to be up and close and personal on my face. Actually, she looks, oh no, she looks very edible. Oh my gosh, they're so good. There is nothing that I crave more than being able to just come out into the garden and graze. I dream about this all winter. I'm like, oh. Usually, you could be in a sundress out here plucking vegetables. And it's the most magical thing, I think. Might be weird, but I just love crawling up under my plants and foraging. I look forward to it so much in the winter. I feel like they're taking forever to ripen. It seemed like last year, gosh, there was just handfuls on each plant, and this year it's like you see, like, look how many green ones. Why are they not ripening? It's so aggravating. I'm still having to buy tomatoes in the grocery store for my salads because they're not keeping up with me. Just stick my tomatoes there. And I think I've showed you guys this. Look how ridiculous. Vehicle went by. Look how ridiculous these are. Like, it's a hedge of tomatoes. I've had them get big, but like these guys are a little bit extra. And it's weird. It's almost like it's just the center of this garden, because last year I had, what was it? I think it was squash and zucchini. That's what it was. It was squash and zucchini, like pretty much from where the corn started, there, all the way to like here. It took up like 2/3 of this garden. It was ridiculous. And they were okay size. They were kind of more like that. And then just in this general area, they were like that. It was just like, so it's it's Jack. So it's like something with the center area with the fertility. I don't know. Something about it. The plants love it, and they obviously grow ridiculous. So I'm gonna get some more tomatoes. This is the only big one that not to ripe. The rest are still. I see them all over. See them? They're just taking their sweet time, I guess. The clovers sure are pretty. That's it for tomatoes. Not gonna last very long. Next year I am definitely not planting beans until I have a trellis up. It's started picking green beans, you guys. People ask what you do after work. I respond, I harass green bean plants. She doesn't want, oh, there's a little baby slug. Ugh. Have to do another green bean hole. Wait, I'm filling up here. Alright, you guys. Got a handful and an entire basket full. I'm done picking green beans. This I still have from here all the way down to that second post to pull, but I am done for the evening. And then I think tomorrow, or probably won't be over here tomorrow. Let me see, tomorrow's Tuesday, probably Wednesday evening I'll be back over here. I'll get the rest of the green beans and then I'll get the onions. And then I'm done for now. The corn's not ready. By then there might be a few more squash and zucchini ready, but I have a green bean stuck to my pants. I don't have enough pockets. So that'll do it. I will see you guys on the next video. Have a great night. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. Green beans falling out. There's going to be lots more garden videos. I'm going to have lots more videos. Probably not going to have time this year. But come next summer, spring time frame, I'm going to be doing a lot more stuff in this garden with the raised beds, the trellis, and different garden stuff. So stay tuned. Have a great night, guys. Arfity, arfity, arf, arf, arf. Run! Run, you crazy dog! Crazy, crazy, crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. What are you doing? What are you doing? Hi! Oh my goodness. Alright, you guys. Now I'm officially done with the video. Have a great night. See ya.